Now call to order the regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees for Texas Southmost College. Trustees present. I know Mr. J.J. Delan will be here in a minute. Ms. Eva Alejandro, Ms. Alejandra Aldrete, Mr. Ruben Herrera, Dr. Tony Zabaleta, Ms. Delia Sainz, myself, and our president, Dr. Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. And I will call on Dr. Zabaleta for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Let's go to work.
Public comment? No public comment? Mr. President, are you ready for your report?
Yes, Madam Chair and trustees, good evening. As I always like to say, great things are happening at Texas Southmost College. Our financial aid office hosted a FAFSA fiesta on October the 19th. The purpose was to encourage students to take advantage of the assistance available when completing their 23-24 FAFSA and to promote the new FAFSA application. Several students were able to complete their FAFSA during the session with the assistance from a financial aid specialist, while others were able to get responses to their questions. As students completed their FAFSA, we wasted no time. They were sent to register for the spring semester. We expect to have another FAFSA event in January before spring classes begin. I want to thank Ms. Pamela Jones for organizing the event. This year's Domestic Violence Awareness event, Domestic Violence Does Not Discriminate, is an annual event conducted in partnership with the Cameron County District Attorney's Office. The event started on Tuesday, October the 18th, and ended Thursday, October the 20th. I do want to thank Trustee Sainz for providing the welcoming remarks to the attendees. 150 high school students attended the conference on the first day, and college students and public attended on the second day. There was also a press conference with a large media turnout. The 4 district attorneys of the Rio Grande Valley, Cameron, Willacy, Hidalgo, and Stark counties came together to encourage more reporting and more awareness of domestic violence. The event concluded in the evening of the 20th with a keynote by Celeste Villarreal, a domestic violence abuse survivor, followed by a vigil for domestic violence victims. I want to give my thanks to our Cameron County District Attorney, Luis Sainz, for his tenacity on this issue and for continuing to partner with Texas Southmost College on this annual event. I also want to thank our faculty, led by Dr. Christopher Alves, for assisting in the organization of this event. As October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, students and employees wore pink throughout the month to bring awareness, encourage breast cancer screenings, and to honor survivors and victims of breast cancer. We never do anything small at TSC, so we took it further and decided to try to paint the campus pink on Tuesday, October the 20th, by asking students and employees to wear pink that day. Leading up to that day, we asked students and employees to finish the statement. I wear pink because. We share the responses on social media along with their photo. We received responses from some of you, our trustees, as well as many students and employees. A yoga instructor and a health provider were on campus that day to offer tips for health lifestyles. At the end of October, Chair Garza, Vice Chair De Leon, Secretary Aldrete, immediate past Chair Herrera, Trustee Sainz, and I attended the 2022 Association of Community College Trustees Leadership Congress. Over 1,800 attendees participated in the conference, which had a theme of improving the lives of the entire families. We attended informative workshops and we were able to network with peers from across the country. In fact, we were also able to support one of our peers from the Upper Valley, Ms. Rosa Benavides, who is the incoming ACCT chair. On October 26th, Jose Arambu and Saraí Barrera of our high school programs and services department served on the K-12 Institutions of Higher Education panel with Melissa De La Torre, BISD Early College High School Dual Enrollment Lead Teacher at the South Texas Regional Convening Texas College in Career Readiness School Model Symposium in McAllen. The symposium was organized by the Texas Education Agency and Educate Texas. We were invited to serve on the panel due to the close relationship between BISD and TSC. It's a good model to follow. And the panel was facilitated by TEA. The attendees of the symposium from the high schools and institutions of higher education came from the entire South Texas regions, and we had some nice workshop sessions. On November the 3rd, we once again hosted BISD for a BISD Early College High School Cabinet meeting. We had just hosted them in September, but they liked the meeting space and they asked if they could use the room again earlier this month. The Early College High School Cabinet consists of administrators, high school principals, and they also included some middle school principals. Our staff is included in the agenda and are given an opportunity to provide updates and deadlines as well as to answer any questions that they may have with the process. Educational partners continue to reach out to us requesting to visit with us on our campus. The dialogue with these partners continue to be how can we strengthen our current relationships by increasing the number of students at our respective institutions. We've met with 2 different educational partners this month, Western Governors University and Valley Grande Institute. On November 7th, I presented the North Rotary Clubs of Brownsville, thanks to Vice Chair De Leon, for making this connection for us. I provided an overview of Texas Southmost College and our performance over the past 5 years. I received good feedback from the community leaders in attendance. I think some of you may have been just as disappointed as I was because we didn't get to participate in this year's Haunted Tour here at TSC. As you will see in the video, we had a great turnout with over 900 community members visiting our campus that evening. It was another successful Haunted Tour. It does take the entire campus to put on this event, so I want to thank our students who played their part very well, the Student Services Division for organizing and staffing, marketing for the promotion of the event, and safety and risk management for the evaluation of the foot and vehicle traffic to mitigate possible accidents. On October 31st, our campus was treated to a parade of characters. Our little scorpions were the stars of the parade, and they also visited campus departments where they received treats from our employees. As I do every year, I visited the Child Care Center to take photos with the children. The Parade of Characters event was very successful. Now, continuing with our celebrations, we held our annual Dia de los Muertos event on November 2nd. We started with the procession from North-South Courtyard to the Jacob Brown parking lot where the event took place. I want to thank Virginia Sandoval with Student Life for taking on the event. Guests were able to view the altars made by our students and listen to musical performances from our local high school and TSC students. I want to thank Chair Garza, Vice Chair De Leon, Secretary Aldrete, and immediate past Chair Herrera for joining us that evening. As you will see in the video, we had so much fun. We continue to get information and updates from the Texas Commission on Community College Finance and Higher Education Coordinating Board on the funding model recommendations. On November 4th, there was a webinar intended for board members. If you were not able to attend, there is a recorded video that Ms. Carr has been sharing with you that discusses this funding model recommendations. Then on November 9th, I traveled to Corpus Christi for a regional workshop hosted by Commissioner Harrison Keller. This workshop was geared towards college presidents. I joined some of my peers from South Texas regional colleges to share our feedback on the funding model. Prior to sharing our feedback, each college had the opportunity to give an update on our college. I shared similar report I have shared with you and our employees, like a convocation, as well as other groups like the Rotary Clubs. Again, we stand apart. We continue to show growth where others do not. And I thank the Commissioner for being there with us and showing his support in moving these recommendations forward. We continue to host student groups on campus. You may have seen them on social media, and you will see some in upcoming videos. We had students from Incarnate Word Academy on November 7th, from Santa Rosa High School on November 9th. These students tour our Fort Brown campus. Just this week, 240 students from Lyford High School visited ITech over a 2-day period. They visited the ITech for information sessions about WTCE programs, followed by a tour of our workforce labs. I want to thank Dulce Martinez for her team of transition coaches for arranging the tours of the Fort Brown campus, and Chris Lefebvre for arranging the iTech information sessions and tours. La Feria High School dual credit students visited one of our biology labs to conduct an experiment in which students separated the DNA enzymes to simulate a crime scene investigation. That was just amazing. And I want to thank Dr. Overath and Mr. Garcia for assisting these students with these experiments. On November 11th, we held our 10th annual Veterans Day event. It was a well-attended event with several community members in attendance. Chair Garza joined me along with our new Veterans Coordinator, Mark Agüero, Pamela Jones, and our keynote speaker and TSC alum, Maria Osorio, whose family was in the audience. Her can-do attitude and the importance TSC played in her career was evident in her inspirational remarks. I want to thank Chair Garza for participating in the event. I also want to thank Mrs. Jones and Mr. Agüero for organizing the event, the Brownsville Fire Department for their presentation of colors and bagpipes, and the music department musicians for playing taps. And yesterday, we held a press conference to provide information on the soccer program to our community and the media. Dr. Armando Ponce provided a timeline on what will happen next in the building as we're building our athletic program. He also recognized the men and women who just verbally committed to play Scorpion soccer. There were questions from the audience and an overall excitement about our new soccer program. I want to thank Chair Garza for joining us and sharing her excitement, as well as the Board of Trustees for their continued support of this soccer program. At this time, I would like to call on David Tomlinson to provide an update on the report.
Last night, the art.
Oh, that was good. And yesterday as well, there was an event over at the iTech Center at the Art Gallery showcasing the fine work our students are making.
The master copy.
The master copy. They took a drawing and they worked on it, and the feedback was incredible. They enjoyed our faculty, they enjoyed the work. The work was for sale, and I think most of them got sold. I mean, so beautiful work.
I bought one.
Madam Chair bought one, and Ms. Adrete was slow on the trigger. They beat you to the one you wanted.
No, it was not for sale.
The one that I wanted was not for sale.
Aw, we'll try to get you a copy. Nah, no, but that's what we currently have. We're moving the right direction with our school, with our students, faculty, staff, the way we service our community. So thank you.
Give me 1 second. Sure. Ms. Jones. I want to talk about the Veterans event. Is Ms. Jones here? No?
No.
She did an amazing job, and it was so nice to hear our keynote speaker because she's alumna. And 2 tours in Afghanistan, and on the way back, she finds out she has cancer, so she beats the 2 tours and the cancer. And it was an amazing event. It was very, very well organized, and please let her know that.
Yes, ma'am. Will do.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, and President Rodriguez for allowing a few minutes to update on the foundation. As I've mentioned before, I continue to represent the college at numerous ribbon cuttings and events around the community. This past month, I had the opportunity to attend the dedication for the new Olmito Nature Park being developed by the Cameron County and Texas Parks and Wildlife. In addition, I had the distinct honor of attending a company inclusion event at Big Heroes, which had numerous businesses and organizations like Lone Star Bank, Texas Regional Bank, Brownsville PD, U.S. Border Patrol, and others. Big Heroes is a nonprofit that provides a post-high school learning for young adults with disabilities and helps each member reach their maximum potential in life. As you can see here in the photo, I'm helping to build a birdhouse with one of the young adults. I can guarantee you this, it was not one of the best built birdhouses ever, and will probably take in a lot of water when it rains, but as it turned out, and honestly, all that mattered was Orlando and his approval that evening. Also, during the month of October, we held our TSC Foundation Board meeting. Some of the highlights of that meeting was the appointment of 2 new members, Mr. Roel Rodriguez, TSC alum, and Edward Bustos. In addition, the date for the next gala was solidified for April 15th, 2023 in the same location as this past year on the 2nd floor of Oliveda. And great news to also report at that meeting that the $275,000 in scholarship monies that were dedicated by the foundation in August had been completely awarded. Thank you to Associate Vice President of Student Services, Mr. Rene Villarreal, and Executive Director of Enrollment and Academic Support Services, Ms. Vanessa Vasquez, that reported that to the board, but most importantly, all of those that from Student Services and Financial Aid who worked hard to make sure that these scholarships were awarded for this new year. As I mentioned in October, that I would be visiting with a TSC alum in Houston who was interested in making a large donation to the college. I met with Mr. Mario Zamora, who's pictured here with me, on November 2nd, and after a great discussion, made a commitment of $50,000 towards student scholarships. His intentions and guidelines for the scholarship are still being finalized, but his commitment is to replenish it every year, what is awarded, and furthermore, has dedicated a portion to be given through planned giving so that his scholarship will remain in perpetuity. Additionally, we received word from the National Board of Respiratory Care on a $5,000 scholarship to be given to students in the respiratory program with criteria given at the college's discretion and is to be awarded in the 2023 calendar year. Quickly adding that I attended the first meeting of Leadership Harlingen this past Tuesday as we continue to grow our presence in the Harlingen area. Finally, we're working on completing the annual report for 2021-22. That will be presented to the Foundation Board meeting next month and then to this Board of Trustees at the January meeting. As a reminder that the Foundation will be hosting a scholarship recipient reception at the TSC Performing Arts Center on November 30th at 6 p.m. And I'm respectfully requesting your attendance if your schedule allows so that we can showcase our students who have worked so hard to earn these scholarships. Finally, we'll have our last Foundation Board meeting for the year on December 14th. If there are no questions, this completes my report.
Mr. Tomlinson, when
Yes, ma'am.
did you go to Houston to meet with Mr. Zamora?
When? November 2nd?
The board didn't know anything? The foundation board did?
Yes, ma'am, and then I had announced it here last month as well, that he was wanting to meet over there because he was ill.
I know we had talked about it, but I didn't know you had gone, and I didn't know the amount he'd committed.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Are the scholarships merit-based or need-based?
On his scholarship?
Yeah.
They're going to be really it's both. It's whatever the college, he's got some guidelines, he's not very specific on how to give it out.
Are they based on merit?
Yes, sir,
Or
there'll
are they
be,
based on need?
I'm sorry? Oh, the 275? The 275,000, sir, or the 50,000 from Mr.
Scholarships you're
Zamora?
talking about?
So they are merit-based. Yes, sir, there is a GPA that is, yes, sir, that is required of that.
GPA and so forth?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I apologize for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now it's time to view this month's reel of all the activities that have occurred since we last met.
I'm Noah Gonzalez for Space Channel News with our continuing coverage of the SpaceX Starship program from our Texas Southmost College studio in Brownsville, Texas.
It was really scary. Our favorite part was the zombies. Oh my goodness, this is scary. This is awesome, great for family.
Ms. Aldrez and I have dreams of having a huge Dia de los Muertos celebration for next year.
Oh, it's going to happen.
So we're asking for people to help us.
We'll make it work. And Mr. Herrera also made a request on a certain altar that we'll be working on with the campus community.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think the more feedback we get, the better the program and the better we're all going to be. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I want to take this moment to thank my Board of Trustees for your support, for your commitment, and for the courage in making those bold decisions to move this college forward. Thank you, trustees, for what you do for Texas Southmost College every day. And I'm also thankful to all the employees that work really hard to service our students.
Yes.
So thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. President. And now we'll go to item number 7, Finance Committee. Mr. Herrera.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The
Criminal
Finance
Justice,
Committee
sorry.
met on Tuesday, November the 8th.
Why, did I skip? Give me 1 second. I skipped something. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you give me a minute, please?
Yes.
I forgot the Criminal Justice report. I skipped 1 page.
Thank you.
Again, this is a follow-up to the monthly report on our cadets. If you see on the first page, it's a breakdown since 2017 till last academic year for where we were to where we're at. Again, the first page, I highlight the ones in yellow when we changed guidelines and requirements. And we saw a passing rate increasing to 92.86%. So 13 of the 14 cadets passed. And the 14th, the additional passed in the second try. You got the current academic standards and enrollment of how cadets were brought in this July cohort, which is our current cohort. You got the current academic standards for enrollment that the students must fulfill and be in compliance with. Then you got the July 22 cohort grade performance. So this is a snapshot of where they're at. And part of the new requirements is that all cadets must maintain an 85 grade average. So the Day Academy has 29 cadets. 13 cadets are within the range of 87 to 89, and 16 cadets are within the range of 90 to 95.
Okay.
The Night Academy has 5 cadets. Only 1 cadet is in the range, has an 86.26, and the other 4 cadets are between the 90 and 95 range. Also, July 2022 cohort grade performance. There are approximately 42 modules or exams that are given through the academy. 36 modules have been conducted, and they all have to make sure that they do not score under 75. So if they score under 75 on 4 modules, they're out. So the snapshot is that 5 cadets have received 1 test score below 75, and 5 cadets have received 2 scores below 75. So this is a total of the 36 modules that have been given up so far. The Night Academy has 5 enrolled cadets, and none have received a grade below 75. Now the tutoring happens after class. We can't mandate it. We highly encourage them to attend. And you see the breakdown in the Day Academy of the 29 cadets. 18 cadets have attended all 7 study sessions. 7 have attended 3+ sessions. 2 cadets have attended less than 3, and 2 cadets have not attended any sessions. And all 5 night cadets have attended all study sessions and provided. We also do have one-on-one. If they can't come to a study session, the instructors also meet with them and try to help them out around their schedule.
Do we have any information whether these 2 cadets that haven't come to class, are those the ones that are under 75? Do we have any information?
No, my understanding, those that have not attended the sessions are the ones that are scoring very high in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
So
They feel
That
they
is
don't
your
need-
understanding. Is that true?
that's what was shared with me.
That was what was shared with you?
Correct, sir.
Good.
And that's where, yes,
When do they take their state test?
it's I think the first week of December. They graduate, and within a few more days, they will take the exam.
And everyone is going to test?
Yes.
We have a commitment from everyone?
Well, as long as they maintain their standards,
Right.
yes, sir.
Right, but if they maintain their standards, they're going to test.
Yes, sir.
Because what happens is you don't test and time goes by, you start forgetting things.
So we already made 2 sessions, one in December and one in January for them to test. So we're trying to push everyone in the December date, so you graduate and let's test you right away. But we understand that sometimes life gets in the way, something could happen. So we'll continue working with them and test them again in January. But the whole goal is to test the cadets in the month of December upon completion of the academy.
And as my grandfather would say, y que fueran pasando.
Well, we're hopeful,
Mr. President, does this 92 and this first numbers that you gave us
Oh, on the first page.
on the first page, does this put us over the edge?
No, ma'am. This is, when you look at that first page, we were at 88, 91, then boom, we dropped to 53. Boom, we dropped to 70, right? Now, that number helps because students have been testing, performing below. So when we met, we changed the guidelines, we changed the standards. So for the June graduation, this past June, so 14 cadets completed under the new guidelines and the new standards. They were already in the academy, we tweaked it and still reinforced a lot of things. And what we saw was a good turnout. By changing things around, 13 of the 14 passed. If I just take that snapshot, that gives us a 92, right? But those numbers were part of the year performance, which brought it up to 70. So they only take the scores from it ends in August, from June, July, August, so from September to August 31st. September 1st to August 31st. Anyone that tests within that range, going back to your point, So you don't want to wait 6 months, 8 months when you finish the academy to get tested. You want to test them quickly. So we're very hopeful, we're excited that what we've been doing showed a little bit of a good return on the investment with the 14 cadets. And we're currently focusing on the 29 and the 5 that are in this cohort.
Any other program at Texas Southmost College that has problems that we need to address?
We just got the visit from the vocational nursing, right? We'll be submitting some of the documentation in December. Those will be recommendations at this point. We recommend you will do this. They're not, if we submit the paperwork by early December, that'll be the final report to us. There's some observations. The EMS program was also a little low, but the organization discarded every test, or not discarded, not hold us accountable. So because of COVID and some other stuff that they consider. So we're revamping the EMT program as well.
I think that once we have a program that is having problems, I think that we should focus on them. And I think that we should report on a monthly basis. We need to focus on and put the same emphasis on those programs as we have on the criminal justice program. It's not fair for the criminal justice program to have, or to be under the microscope, and other programs are falling or slipping behind. So if there is a case in which we have a program that is falling behind, please let us know.
Yes, sir.
And we'll take the action necessary. The board will take the action, you will take the action. We'll provide whatever support we need to provide for us not to be in the situation.
Yes, sir.
We also don't want to lose any program.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
We're trying to grow enrollment.
Yes, we do. And programs that our students are graduating from are needed by our community, whether it be in licensed vocational nurse, whether it be a police officer, regardless, we provide an education that provides a livelihood for our students. So I will keep the board informed.
Thank you.
That concludes your report.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll go to item number 6, consideration and possible action on the minutes of the following meetings. Regular meeting, October 20, 2022. I have a motion.
I so moved, Madam Chair.
I have a motion by Mr. Herrera, second by Mr. De Leon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Discussion? None? Motion carries. Okay, your turn, Mr. Herrera. I'm sorry.
The Finance Committee met on Tuesday, November the 8th of 2022. Present were Ms. Aldrete, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, college legal, and board legal counsel. Committees discussed the following items. 7A, consideration possible action on approval of Illusion purchase software license fees. Mr. Villarreal.
Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rodriguez, again, this item is a proposal to purchase the Ellucian purchase software that will allow the purchasing and finance departments to manage, spend, and build a more diverse ecosystem in their department. These, as I understand it, and I'm in discussion with the purchasing department, what this software is going to do is bolt onto our existing ERP system from Colleague, from Ellucian, that is, as you know, is Colleague, that will allow the buyers to connect resources to their buying needs, create some intuitive shopping, basically to create a more intelligent purchasing department in terms of the way that we shop and acquire assets from various vendors. It will allow the vendors to give us access to their catalogs, and all the buyers around the school will then be able to pool their resources to also spend more intelligently and make sure that we see any patterns of spending throughout the entire campus. This is a CARES Act purchase as approved through the grant. The first year will be subsidized by the CARES Act, and then in succeeding years, it will become part of our operational budget, and we'll bring it to the board annually like we do every May. As you can see, the total cost will be $233,000 over 5 years. The CARES Act portion will cover the $73,347 in the first year. So again, if approved, the first year expenses will be coming from the CARES Act, and then going forward, we will make it part of the institutional operational budget in the succeeding years.
Thank you, Mr. Villarreal. I move to approve the license fees for Illusion purchase software from Illusion Company LP through the sole source purchasing method in the amount of $73,347 for the first year. For the second year, $38,213. For the third year, $39,359. For the fourth year, $40,540. And for the fifth year, $41,756, for a total of 5-year contract of the amount of $233,216, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase orders as presented.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second.
I have a motion by Mr. Herrera. I have a second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 7B, consideration possible action on approval for annual broadcast and digital service for fiscal year 2022-2023. Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you and for your consideration, have the approval of the annual broadcast and digital services for this current fiscal year. The purchasing method will be a source, and it's to 3 different vendors that we estimate that might have a purchase of over $25,000 throughout this year. Charter Communications, Mobile Video Tapes, and NBC Universal. Charter Communications is Spectrum, our local cable channel. Mobile Video Tapes is KRGV, Channel 5, TV Azteca, and Somos. And NBC Universal includes Telemundo 40. This is going to be part of the budget for marketing for the year.
I propose that we approve the annual broadcast and digital service with Charter Communication Holding LLC, DBA Spectrum Reach, Mobile Video Tapes, Inc., and NBC Universal LLC through sole purchasing method for fiscal year 2022-2023.
I second that.
Motion by Mr. Herrera, second by Ms. Aldrete. Discussion?
Yes. Did we did away with, well, we put on hold the, what was the name of the
Spotify.
Spotify?
Yes, sir.
And we were supposed to look into,
Into the geofencing.
The analytics and geofencing, yes. So the marketing department is looking into that, and we'll bring it back once we have that additional information.
thank you so much. Any other questions?
I took the vote already. Did I? Did I take the vote?
No.
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 7C, consideration possible action on approval of budget amendment 23-002 to recognize tuition and fee revenue in the amount of $425,000. Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you and for your consideration, have the approval of budget amendment 23002, and that is to recognize the additional tuition revenue above the projection in the amount of $425,000. The way that will be utilized is to cover some of the increase in utilities and adjuncts.
Does that mean, may I ask a question? Does that mean to recognize a reduction in tuition and fees?
No,
No.
and
Then why do we need a budget amendment?
Well, we need to recognize an excess of revenue.
Is that right?
Yes.
We grew by 1.6%, so we generated or calculated X amount in tuition, so it's X plus 1. So this is the excess revenue of $425,000 that we would like to infuse it back into the budget to cover more
Okay.
adjunct salaries and
Thank
pay.
you.
the increase in
Thank you.
tuition and utilities.
I move to approve the budget amendment 23-002 for fiscal year 2023 as presented by the administration.
I second that.
Motion by Mr. Herrera, second by Ms. Aldrete. Discussion?
I have a question. What is the percentage of adjunct people, faculty that we have on? Do you have any idea?
Percentage full-time to
Of adjunct.
adjunct? What's the percentage overall?
60.
60.
We're at a college of 64.
60 full-time, 40% adjunct.
No, 60
Adjunct,
adjunct,
40
40
full-time.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Next item is monthly financial statement report for the month ended in September 30th, 2022, and I will call on Mr. Picero to rock and roll.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Mr. Pacero will present the monthly financial statement.
Thank you, Dr. Figueroa. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, we have for you the monthly financial statement. It's in a format that's similar to the board. I will mainly concentrate my presentation on the September column. And as you all know, we adopt a budget for 3 fund types. I'll begin with the first of the 3, our educational and general fund. On this slide, we have revenue for the month of September, and the subtotal here at the bottom of this slide, $6,893,561 is revenue for general fund. Moving on to the next slide is where we have our expenditures category, and we have 2 subtotals on this slide. We have salaries and wages of 1.2 million and benefits of 326,000. Still in expenditures, we begin our M&O category on this slide. So this category will start on this slide, go through the next, and conclude here. And this subtotal, 1,042,000, is total expenditures in that M&O category for general fund. On the following slide, we have 2 subtotals, one for travel, which is $600, and then one for general institutional, which is $136,000. We're still in expenditures in general fund, and we have a scholarship subtotal, $7,300, and then an expenses subtotal for all general fund of 2.7 million. So that's revenue and expenditures for general fund. Moving on to the second of the 3 funds, this is auxiliary, and we have revenue on this slide. We have a subtotal of 723,000 of revenue in auxiliary fund for September. Next slide is where the expenditures begin, and we have 2 subtotals on this slide, 104,000 for salaries and wages and 22,000 for benefits. This next slide is where we have our M&O category. Goes through this slide and concludes on the following. 26,000 is the subtotal for September of expenditures in the M&O category, still in auxiliary fund. All right, this is the last slide for auxiliary, and we have a subtotal for travel of $1,200, and we have a subtotal for all expenditures in auxiliary fund of $154,000. So that's revenue and expenditures for auxiliary. This is the last of the 3 funds. We have revenue on this slide, 52,000. That's for the month of September, and no expenditures in the general obligation and bond fund for the month of September. We typically see those in February and in August. So that's all 3 funds, revenue and expenditures. We do have a slide that recaps the detail for the benefit expenditures, 146,000 for general fund and 9,700 for auxiliary fund. Moving on, we have our fund balance recap. This number here at the top of the slide, this agrees to the last audited financial statements that we've presented. And down at the bottom of the slide, we have our projected fund balance number as of September 30th. And there's no change either on that slide that I just presented or on this table here. These are our debt service payments laid out for the next 5 future years, and then grouped in categories of 5 subsequent to that. And with that, I'll conclude my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Pacero, for a stellar presentation. Next item is 7E, Fund Balance Operation Report. We'll call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you have the number of days in fund balance report, this remains unchanged as the fund balance remains unchanged, which is 132 days, 133 days almost, 132.96.
This item was for information only. No action is required. Thank you, Dr. Figueroa, for another stellar presentation. Mr. Pizarro and I have been through thick and thin, just in case. We had a rocky start, but I've come to realize his hard work and his dedication to this college. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is 7F, Institutional Cares Expenditure Report. I'll call on Dr. Figueroa for this.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, this is the care expenditures for the month of September, and we have this is actually October, 162,544. It's the new expenditures, and all of the detail of those 162,000 are in your report. Has the name of the vendor and what it was actually purchased with CARES funds this last month.
Thank you very much, Dr. Figueroa. This item is for information only, no action is required. Next item is 7G, awards grants awarded to Texas Southmost College for the month of October 2022. I'll call Dr. Figueroa. I'll call on Dr. Fuentes.
Yes, sir.
Don't give her the mic, please.
Speaking of stellar, so I'm here to TSC Board of Trustees, Madam Chair, and Dr. Rodriguez. I'm here to report the grants we received in the month of October, and we received a grant for almost $600,000. This grant will support retention efforts for our career and technical education programs. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for a magnificent presentation.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Fuentes.
Everyone takes, I give. Thank you.
This concludes my report, Madam Chair.
So we continue with Student Services. Ms. Delia?
The Student Services Committee met on Tuesday, November 8, 2022. Present were Chair Garza, Ms. Alejandro, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and college legal. The committee discussed athletics and JCAA update. I call on Mr. Rene Villarreal and Dr. Armando Ponce to present.
Ms. Sines, thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. I'd like to ask Dr. Ponce to present the next item.
Why are you so shy, Mr. Rene? Why don't you present for us? Why are you so shy? You do rather well in the foundation?
I'm trying to let Dr. Ponce get his spotlight because he put in a lot of work to make sure that we got to where we did with athletics. So as of today, I'd like to just give him that additional spotlight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sines. You know, a pay raise with it?
Madam Chair, members of the board, I am going to give an update on athletics, but before I do that, I want to give our final update on our club soccer team. Now, as you know, we were the South Division champions.
Yes.
For the third time.
We even had a trophy to show for it.
So the boys did tremendous throughout the year. I want to thank the Board of Trustees for their ongoing support of the club program for all these years. And they definitely did us proud by winning the division. And by winning the division, they qualified for regionals. So at the end of October, we traveled to San Marcos, and we had a very tough draw. Unfortunately, we drew UT in our bracket. We played a really tough game, but we ended up coming out in second place. But the boys played courageously, and they definitely represented TSC very well. Now, one thing I did want to state is that at the end of regionals, they released the final rankings, and we were ranked 8th in the region, which includes New Mexico, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. So TSC was very well represented in the region. And now athletics is officially back.
Woohoo! Are we all excited about it, or is it just me?
As of November 1st, we could start building out our roster, which we already have begun doing. And of course, yesterday, we had an amazing press conference. I want to thank Madam Chair for kicking us off and leading the effort. We had a great turnout. We had several members of the media attend. We had some of our players attend. And it was really, I'm getting a lot of really positive feedback already. People are already reaching out to me, asking about our program. So definitely the press conference was a big hit. I want to thank everybody who took part in putting it together, Frank's team, of course, Dr. Garcia's office, the president's office. It was truly a team effort, and it was a great success. So speaking of our club soccer team, we have 7 players that are going to be transitioning from the club soccer team to the NJCAA team. They've already been vetted and they're ready to go. We have 1 transfer that's coming in that's already getting registered for the spring semester, transferring from another university. And here, when I first submitted the slide, it's been updated since, we actually have, in regards to men's, we have 11 men's recruits that are already in the process of, we're vetting them, making sure that, it's a process to make sure that they're eligible, to make sure that they're academically prepared, set. Some have been out of school for a year. Some have not gone to school at all. So different situations for each individual. So we're getting them along. So very excited about that. I'm meeting with 2 of them tomorrow. And next week, I'm trying to get as many in as I can before Thanksgiving. And now for our females teams, we have 7 females that have already committed that are already registered for the spring semester. I've been working with them, with our student success team, to get them registered, get them what they need to be ready to start participating in the spring. I have 5 other female recruits that we're vetting as well, trying to get them to start in the spring. So the word is going out. They're now reaching out to us, and we're, of course, actively recruiting players that we can start in the spring semester. And of course, we're hoping to post the head coaching position as soon as possible to get the head coach started as the high school soccer season starts after Thanksgiving. So we're already actively recruiting. We're meeting with the coaches. Yesterday, we were fortunate to have several coaches attend. So we've been in contact with them, and it's a very exciting time. One thing that we had proposed was to do a signing ceremony for all of our current players, but as the list keeps growing, we don't want to leave anybody out. So one thing that we're looking at is doing a pep rally at the beginning of the spring semester to really invite the entire TSC community to really celebrate us, that we're the team, and that TSC is bringing athletics back. So that's something that we're starting to plan to look forward to. We're looking for a date to do that, and we're going to start signing players at their respective high schools soon as well. Again, we're communicating with those coaches. Those ceremonies usually take place at the high schools. So we already have a lot of recruits that have showed interest and that we're showing interest in as well. So we're going full speed ahead. Yes, sir.
Who's making sure, or how are you going to make sure that every soccer player that comes to TSC is passing and is meeting up their academic requirements? That's very important.
Mr. Herrera, let me just jump in. We are planning to have each of the players set up with a success coach that they will be mandated to meet throughout the semester to make sure that they continue attendance, mandatory tutoring, and additional academic support in order for them to be well prepared. Last thing we want is to find out at the end of the semester that they're not doing well. So we are instituting, as Dr. Ponce is recruiting both men and women, he's advising them that they will need to sign on to make sure that they meet the academic rigor that we need for them to accomplish their degree. That's our primary goal.
Who's going to police that?
I'm sorry?
Who's going to police that?
I will be working with Student Success, which is Carolina Reina, and we will have a designated success coach and an enrollment coach. Currently, we have already identified 2 individuals, 1 for each, that will help them matriculate into the coursework that provides them with the appropriate courses to meet their program. And then we will be working in partnership with our tutoring center and setting up some appointments.
I would ask that without giving us names or ID numbers or anything, at the end of each semester, let us know how many are passing, how many are not passing.
I will note that,
and the
sir.
steps that are going to be taken to remediate that.
Absolutely. I will bring that to the board. Thank you.
And just to add to that, Mr. Herrera, we do have a mandatory study sessions for those that we identify needed. And right now, as we vet those players, we have to go through their high school transcript, make sure that they're TSI complete. And depending on where they're at, if they have attended a previous university, then we know how many hours they need to get by the fall semester to be eligible. So Mr. Villar is assisting me with the compliance to make sure that we're set as the NJCAA, and of course, on the student parts, that they're matriculating to their program so they can complete a degree.
Thank you.
I had a question. How many recruits do you need to make a team?
Well, we have, officially, there's a 25-person roster for both male and female. We try to carry at least anywhere between 35 to 40 on a team for practice, also for development. People get injured. So that's about the average that most teams carry.
Okay.
You presented this to the committee, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, this item is for information only. No action is required. This concludes my report.
Well, what I found really amazing yesterday, because we had a good session, and there was a lot of people, and Rio Sports came over and did an interview, and they said to follow them because they're going to follow us. So for all the board members, I think it's riosports.com?
It's,
Rio Sports? Okay. Yes, they are. So, but another thing that was brought up that I found very interesting, one of the coaches that used to play for the team said that the most exciting part of the games was the tailgating. So I think we should have a board tailgating party when we start this. And invite the community to tailgate, so.
That's good.
That's good.
They'd like that. The community would like that.
Yes. Are you done, Miss? You're done?
Rio Sports
Life.
Live, L-I-F-E?
They're on Facebook.
Thank you, Mr. Ponce. Thank you, Mr. Rene.
Thank you.
Academic Committee, and I'll call on Dr. Zavaleta.
Yes, ma'am. The Academic Committee met on Tuesday, November 8th. President or Chair Garza, Ms. Sines, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the administration. We considered 4 items. 9A, consideration of possible action on approval of airway mechanical ventilation trainer purchase for the respiratory care science program.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. The first item I'm bringing for your consideration and possible approval is the purchase of an airway and mechanical ventilation management system, skills trainer that includes a mannequin that's referred to as HAL. The amount is $28,590 for the respiratory care science program. The purchase is from Gamard Scientific Company through Purchasing Cooperative Choice Partners contract. The purchase includes 1 bedside virtual monitor, training, service, and installation, a 5-year service plan. The respiratory care science program will use HAL, right there, to reduce human error, increase skills development, practice in a controlled environment, and provide on-demand access to patients. The purchase will also enhance student performance and help prepare our students for the National Board for Respiratory Care Therapist exams to become respiratory therapists. The purchase, as I said, is in accordance with TSC board policy for purchasing procedures under Local Government Code 271.102. The expenses are covered by our Carl Perkins grant that was approved in the budget for 2022-2023. Any questions?
Okay. I move the approval of the purchase of the airway and mechanical ventilation trainer, the amount of $28,590, and authorize President Rodriguez to effect the purchase.
Second the motion.
A motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. Herrera. Questions? Mr. Herrera, you have any questions?
I was wondering if that was from that mannequin. I see someone intubated. Is that correct?
I didn't know what you were saying.
We have the program director for respiratory here. You can ask him any questions at all about what.
Come on over.
Get on the mic. Rise and shine.
Mr. Ramirez.
Mr. Ramirez replaced Mr. Gavito, right?
Yeah.
No, respiratory, it's respiratory. He was radiology.
Right, radiology, okay, that's right.
Mr. Ramirez, I saw on the slide, they had a person that was, had tubes and, what was it?
That's the Hal mannequin there.
Right, but-
that is what you were seeing there was a person, that picture right there?
Yes.
That is an endotracheal tube. That's a plastic endotracheal tube on there that will go right into the airway of the mannequin.
When they intubate someone to help them breathe, for example, back in the COVID days, is that what they did?
That is what we do, and that's what we will continue to do.
And that's what our students do?
That is correct. Yes, Dr. Ardetta. I mean, Mr. Ardetta. That is correct.
Madam Chair said that we only did. That's not true. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate this.
You were talking about a surgery, an intubation for a surgery. That's totally different, right?
If you're going to have a surgical procedure, they can choose to use a laryngeal mask airway, known as an LMA, or an endotracheal tube. Regardless, they will use a mechanical ventilator or a bag and mask.
But our students, when they graduate, will be able to perform a procedure like this.
That is absolutely correct. And currently, we do send them to the OR at Valley Baptist Medical Center in Bronzeville. And we send them to OR training for about 10 hours a day. And they go in first thing in the morning, they meet all the day surgery patients that are coming in, and they perform all the intubations that particular day.
Thank you so very much. It's very helpful, and now I have much more faith in the program that I did before. Because I thought they registered and they did the pulmonary exercises by blowing into a little thing and
Yes.
watching the thing go up and down.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item number 9B, consideration and possible action to approve the articulation agreement with Midwestern State University.
Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez, this next item is a articulation agreement with Missouri State University. It's in Wichita Falls. The articulation agreement will allow our health profession graduates that have earned an AAS degree to transfer to MSU without loss of credit hours. It's been reviewed by both college and board legal counsel.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is there, I move the approval of the articulation agreement with Midwestern State University and authorize Dr. Rodriguez to sign the agreement.
Second that.
Have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Alejandro. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item number 9C, consideration and possible action on submitting a letter of intent to plan to the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board to offer 3 bachelor's degrees.
And Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez, this item that we're bringing for your consideration and possible approval is to begin planning on 3 bachelor's degrees, which would begin being offered at least by fall 2024. The 3 degrees are a Bachelor of Applied Science in Criminal Justice, a Bachelor of Applied Science in Early Childhood Education, and a Bachelor of Applied Technology in Organizational Management. All these.
Do you have a timeline? I'm going to want to see a timeline. You have one yet?
Yes, sir. We do have a timeline, just to give you kind of broad strokes.
Okay, well, I'd like
Can we do, can we all hear the presentation and then we'll have questions? Are you presenting on this?
We do not have a presentation.
Oh, okay.
I can give you just general broad strokes on the timeline.
Yes. For Dr. Zavaleta, can you answer?
Well, I'd like to see it in writing. You can do that next month.
I can do that next month for sure,
Okay,
sir.
okay,
Thank you.
good.
Thank you. So then, I move the approval of an action to begin planning for 3 bachelor's degrees and allow Dr. Rodriguez to sign and submit the notification to the coordinating board.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. De Leon. We are extremely excited about this. I know that when I first came on the board, and when Dr. Zavaleta came on the board, we talked about this, and it seemed like it was far, 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 far away, and we were never going to be ready for it because we had so many irons in the fire.
That's right.
So when Dr. Zavaleta brought it up the last couple of weeks ago, I tell the president, I think we're ready for a bachelor's. And he says, yes, and we've been working on it. So I'm happy. I know that South Texas College issues a lot of bachelors, I found out. And the students continue there. They don't transfer to UTRGV. They stay at South Texas because they want to get their bachelor's there. So I'm looking forward to our students staying with us through their bachelor's. And I think
That's right.
it'd be good and less expensive too.
When I first came on the board, I asked the board to approve, to allow me or somebody to go to the legislature and fight for this. And of course, I was told that it couldn't be done, it was impossible. But through my skills, we got the votes and it was approved. And so we've just been waiting because like you say, we've had many, many irons in the fire. But I believe, like I think the board does, that it's time. And this will be a great success for our college.
I have a question. The applied sciences for early childhood, it says from early childhood to 3rd grade. Is that something that the committee decided to through 3rd grade?
Excuse me?
Did the committee decide that it's early childhood through 3rd grade? Or is that the one that they're offering as the state?
Ms. Aderte, that is actually by law. The law
Through 4th, or did they change?
only allows the early childhood bachelor's degree for community colleges. It's that's the only education degree that they would allow us, and it has to be an applied science program.
Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, we all want to jump into this bachelor's degree spirit. Will you please prepare a beautiful presentation? Because I'm not in that committee, and therefore I don't know anything about it. I know that I strongly support this, but I want to know what you have and what you're doing, and how you're doing it. So, video presentation, everything?
Most definitely, sir.
Thank you.
Most definitely, next month, we will bring you a presentation and a timeline of.
Thank you so
what
much.
It's to come.
Okay. It's good to get the ball rolling, though.
Right, and this allows us to send that letter of intent.
That's right.
So we have, that's the first step, and then after that, we can really
That's right.
delve deeper into a lot of these issues.
You've done a good job. I have a motion and a
Yes, we have a
second.
motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Nine D, it's yours, Dr. Zavaleta.
That concludes my report.
No.
9D.
sir.
Nine?
What?
9D.
Is there another one?
Yes,
Not in my agenda.
yes, it's yours.
Let me see.
It's the last page. 3 of 3.
9E.
Nine D. Nine D.
Excuse me?
9D.
9D.
Uh-huh.
Okay. 9D, consideration of possible action on approval of a memorandum of understanding between Texas Southmost College and the Workforce Solutions for paid internships.
You heard bachelor's and then you were done, right?
That's where his heart is at.
I'm still in shock.
Okay. Dr. McCormick?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rodriguez. Dr. Fuentes is going to present on this item.
Okay.
TSC Board of Trustees, Madam Chair and Dr. Rodriguez. I'm here to present on this MOU with Workforce Solution Cameron. We're partnering with them to offer paid internships to our some of our certificate and associate of applied science programs. They would do 10 hours a week for about $101 a week to get hands-on experience at the work site as they complete their degree or certificate.
I'm sure that helps them.
Yes, it does.
100 hours a week?
10 hours a week, 101, yeah. We really want them to get good experience. No, it's $101 a week.
Okay. Motion, Dr. Zavaleta?
I shall move.
Second. I have a motion to award. Where are we?
Aquí.
No.
You want me to read it?
Oh.
I have a motion on approval of the memorandum of understanding between Texas Southmost College and the Workforce Cameron Solutions for paid internships.
Okay. I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by who?
Eva.
Ms. Alejandro? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
That concludes Dr. Zavaleta's report.
That concludes your report, Dr.
Yes,
Zavaleta.
it does.
Facilities. Ms.
The facilities, thank you. The Facilities Committee met on Tuesday, November 8th. Present were Chair Garza, Dr. Zavaleta, President Rodriguez, myself, and members of the TSC administration and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 10A, consideration and possible action on award of RFP 2301 for Science, Engineering, and Technology Building, Set B roof spot repairs. I call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you and for your consideration have the request proposal 2301. This is for Set B spot repairs. We started this solicitation in October 6th, was presented to the Facilities Committee on November 8th, and today we're here to present it to the board. This is the Set B building and the pieces or the spots where we'll be doing the repairs needed. The RFP was evaluated by Mr. George Hinojosa, Mr. Hector Espino, and Ms. Marcela Juarez. We received 4 proposals. That the one with the highest rating is RCJ Roofing and Construction. And the proposal amount is $78,463. The valuation criteria is the one that we use in every solicitation, and these expenses come from the budget for facilities.
Okay, I move to award RFP 2301 for Science, Engineering, and Technology Building, Set B, roof spot repairs to RCJ Roofing and Construction in the amount of $78,643 plus 10% contingency for unexpected events, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Andrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
10B, consideration and possible action on award of RFP 2302 for fence replacement for the Child Care Center.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. We have the request proposal 2302 for the purchase of the fencing for the, or replacement of the fence at the Child Care Center, the Casitas, and this is a grant purchase. We started this solicitation in October 6th, went through the process, presented it to the Facilities Committee on November the 8th, and today we're here to present it to the board. The scope of work includes the replacement of the fence plus adding a coverage to prevent anyone from the street to be seeing the kids that are playing in the backyard. We only received one proposal for this solicitation, which was Garcia Fence in the amount of $53,000. And it was not evaluated through a committee because there was only one proposal received. This will be coming from the grant budget for the childcare, and that's already been pre-approved by the grantor.
Do you know the height of the fence?
Can I do the motion first?
Before you do it, I wanted to know.
The height of the fence?
It's 8 feet.
8 feet.
JJ. Yeah. You forgot to do, I have a question.
No.
Okay, I move to award RFP 2302 for fence replacement for the Child Care Center to Garcia Fence Co. in the amount of $53,000 and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the purchase order as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Dr. Zavaleta. Questions?
No.
I have a question. Do you know how many feet the fence is that they're going to repair or replace?
It was 53, about 53 feet of fencing.
53? Okay. And once we've approved this, when do they get started on the fence?
It will be during the holiday break.
Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Will be Christmas because they need more than the 3 days that we're out.
Okay.
And in Christmas, we have 2 weeks.
Okay. And the fence is wrought iron?
Yes. So it's the fence, the 4 gates that are going to be replaced as well, plus the cover.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
10C, consideration and possible action on approval of Charo Days festivities sponsorships as detailed in GD Local Community Expression and Use of College Facilities Policy. I call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Before you and for your consideration have the sponsorships that were received as defined by GD Local Policy. These sponsorship letters met the 90-day requirement of our policy. We received 3 of them. The first one is Charo Díaz Fiesta Inc. request, and that request includes the following. The first, it's a sponsor night event on Wednesday, February 22nd, and over here you have an overview of the cost that it will cost to rent that facility, broken by facility rental fee, custodial security, the day before the event fee, and the certified electrician fee. They also requested Thursday, February 23rd, the Jacob brand for Noche Mexicana, and you have the amount that it costs to rent that facility. They also requested the Jacob Brown for the custom ball in February 25th, that Sunday, and again, you have the description of the charges. They also are requesting the parking lot in the iTech Center for the carnival. They're requesting also the parking lot across the Child Care Center on University Boulevard to use it as a holding place for the floats, plus the damage deposit. If we were to charge the normal facility fee, that will be $32,240. We are proposing a proposed sponsorship that you can evaluate of sponsoring the amount of the rental fees and just requesting that they pay for what is out of pocket for us, which is the security and the facilities. They, as the policy requires, they will be meeting the insurance requirements that we have, and they've done it in the past. They submitted a packet for us with the different sponsorship levels that they have. This proposal shows a $23,250 worth of proposed sponsorship for these events. And they have different sponsorship levels, which in this case, the college will qualify for the Charo sponsorship. And that is what they're offering in that sponsorship. If the board chooses to award a different amount, there is the remaining levels that they have, like the China Poblana at the 15,000 level, Mariachi, Zarape, Rebozo, and Poncho. That's what they're offering as sponsorships for Charo Days, Inc. The next letter, and you also have what they provided the year before as part of the sponsorship that the college gave for your information. Again, as I mentioned earlier, they will be putting the certificate of liability that is required by our local policy, and they will provide custodial and security for the parking lot use at the iTech and also for the parking lot use. The second request that we received was from the Rotary Club of Brownsville Sunrise. Their request includes the parking lot for 10 days during the carnival in the afternoons. And they will also be providing, as required on GD policy, the certificate of liability, and they will take care of the custodial and security for the time of the event. The third request we received was from Nuestra Cultura Mariachi Association request for the Mariachi Festival, and they're requesting the Texas Southmost College Performing Arts Center and Jacob Brown for April the 21st and April the 22nd. It's 2 days. You have the same as before, the cost of those two facilities broken by the rental facility fee, custodial, the day before the event, the electrician, and the damage deposit. And you also have what we're proposing as a sponsorship as a baseline, which is not charging for the facility fee, just for the out-of-pocket expense to the college. They also provided different levels of sponsorships, starting with the maestro, guitarra, trompeta, violin, and providing also what was provided the year before for the same sponsorship.
Dr. Figueroa.
Yes, ma'am.
And committee. I know this organization is going through some trouble. I would like to table this, if it's okay with the Madam Chair for the committee and the rest of the board. I want to see them clear their problems before we commit to something and then we're in the middle of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Will the board consider tolling the timeline, the 90 days? We tabled it, they brought it in within the 90 days. If we choose to approve, we won't penalize them for not doing it within the 90 days.
So is it all of them, or
No,
is it just
no,
one
no.
organization?
No, just one organization.
So why can't we just pull that one organization?
That one.
Oh.
That one.
Rotary?
Yeah, that one. No, the Nuestra Cultura.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
So if they come back in January or February, they already sorted their problems, can we take it up?
Yes.
That time.
At that
Yes,
time,
but-
without them being penalized because we tabled it?
Yes. That's why I was referring to Dr. Figueroa. Okay, we'll do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think they're going to have to resolve their problems one way or another.
So the policy just says that they need to submit the request 90 days. The board can choose to approve any time until the date of the event. So if you choose
Okay.
to table it at this time, we can bring it back at.
Okay, so we will be tabling then Nuestra Cultura Mariachi Association Charity Festivities.
Thank you.
Okay, so I move to approve Charo Days Fiesta, Inc. and Rotary Club of Brownsville Sunrise sponsorships requested as presented.
I
Second.
that.
I have a motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. Herrera, or
No, Ms. Saenz.
Ms. Saenz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against?
I want to congratulate whoever prepared this. I know it's got to be Mr. Peña, junior council
Can
thing.
you talk into the microphone, please? We can't hear you.
I want to congratulate everyone for presenting this Charo Days Fiesta events as they are now. They're organized. We can see liability taken care of. We can see everything. I think there's no questions to ask now, so thank you so much. We were so lost last year, the year before, as to who was doing what and what was covered or not covered. So thank you very much, Dr. Figueroa.
Okay, Board of Trustees, I am amending my motion. I'm just adding that we are going to be a Charo sponsor level for the Charo Days Fiesta, Inc.
Okay. I have a motion.
Okay.
Let me see what a Charo,
Is it 20,000?
whatever there was presented?
Yes.
Yes, we're good.
Just for clarification purposes.
Okay, I new motion, you make a motion? Second by Mr. De Leon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Okay, 10D, facilities update. Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete.
We got the sunrise. The sunrise?
Yes.
Okay.
The facilities update, I will be presenting 6 of the projects that we've been following through, starting with the iTech Dealers renovation project. That project, when we submitted this, it was at 95%. It's now completed since as scheduled by the end of November. We have a blank canvas with the new roof and clean space, free of any contaminants. The second project is the campus parking lot improvement project. When we submitted this request, it was at 90%. It's now being completed, also the one for the iTech, including the one for the campus. These are pictures of our Liner, Tandy, Newman parking lots, Old Education Building, North and South, Gorgas. And this is when they were starting to do the work on the alternate areas in the parking lot, so that it's now complete as well. Courtroom and criminal justice program project status. We continue working on the plumbing, the electrical, and the insulation. The mill work, it's already in progress. On the milestones, we received the jury and gallery. The jury and gallery seating has been placed, but we received the furniture for the rest of the things that we had ordered back in April, so we finally received that. We're working with IT and some of the items that were also received for the spaces, just not for the actual courtroom, because that's out on the market. We'll be bringing it to the board next time. And we're hoping to get the millwork finalized by February of 2023. And these are some of the pictures of that space. The fourth project is the second floor restroom additions project. We did have a delay in this project with the electrical. Some of the boxes were not available, so we are now expecting the estimated completion time to be February of 2023. And here's the schematic of those restrooms. The fifth project is the Jacob Brown rigging project. This project is almost complete. All of the rigging work was completed. We are pending the lighting work, and the company will be finalizing that right after Thanksgiving. By December 1st, it will be finished and ready for graduation. And these are just some of the pictures of the electrical work that is being done as we speak. Fixed asset inventory services project. This is a project that, as you might recall, the board approved last October. We finished the scanning of all the records here at the iTech, and we're moving into a second phase on, we'll be receiving the report, working on how that will be uploaded to our system, or if we're gonna work with the system separately, and assign the different pieces of inventory by steward or employee. Every employee will be the steward of their assigned items.
Okay, this item is for information only. No action is required. Any questions? So this concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Item 11, executive session. The board will now convene an executive session as provided by Government Code, Chapter 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. We're now in executive session.
Here now.
We're back from executive session. Do I have a motion on executive session matters?
Yes. I move to approve the salary schedule as discussed in executive session.
I have a motion by
So move.
Ms. Science, second?
Second.
Second by Mr. De Leon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. And what do we have? We're done.
No, the meetings.
Meeting schedule.
Yes, December.
Tuesday, December the 15th. We want to have a meeting in December,
Not really.
if necessary.
If necessary.
If necessary.
And then on January the 19th, probably we'll need it. And we're okay with that? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Herrera,
Happy
second by
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Ms. Aldrete. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Boom. Adjourned.